Tell me about yourself. When those words are said in an interview, a lot of people choke. They aren't sure how much to say about themselves or what the interviewers want to hear. As college students, most of us don't have a lot of experience interviewing. However, this is a skill that will soon become vital when applying to graduate schools, jobs, internships. Hi, my name is Liz Schrader and I'm a sophomore here at KU. I was recently interviewed for and accepted into the KU School of Pharmacy, and so today I'm here to talk to you about my experiences and give you tips on how to kill an interview. Now, this doesn't just apply to the day of, so I'm going to break this into 3 parts: before, during, and after the interview. The most important part of any interview lies in the prep you do for it. Now, if you're applying for a graduate school such as pharmacy, nursing, or medical school, one of the best things you can do is ask fellow students who have gone through the same thing. It's best if you find ones that have done it in the past few years, because these interviewers tend to ask the same question from year to year. So if you can do this, you can accumulate a list of questions and then prepare potential answers for each question. However, don't solely rely upon this, because these interviewers are going to ask you some questions that you're not expecting, and then that'll throw you off guard if you only memorize a list of answers. Instead, prepare multiple answers for each question. This way, if they ask you a specific one, you'll be ready for either. For example, a common question that these interviewers like to ask is a time you struggled with something. So for this, I would recommend coming up with both personal and school-related examples. That way you're ready for either. Now, this approach doesn't work as well if you're applying for a job unless you know someone personally that has applied for the exact same company in the exact same position. Instead, I would recommend doing a lot of research on the company. Make sure you know what their core values are and what they're looking for in an employee. And make sure you have examples ready in your head of extracurriculars or any experience you've had that would make you the best candidate for the job, as well as have ready your personality and what defines you and would make you a great candidate. Now, I've talked a lot about them asking you questions and what you should say. However, interviews are not one-sided. At the end of every interview, they'll have time for you to ask them questions. And this is a great opportunity to show your interest in the company. Good examples of questions you can ask include potential leadership opportunities or advancement potentials. This will really show your dedication to moving forward in that school or company, and that you will be a great asset. Now, this is really common advice, but make sure you get enough sleep and eat a good meal the day before the interview, so that way you'll wake up refreshed and have a clear mind that's ready to go the day of. Now it's the day of the interview. You'll likely be nervous, but that's okay. Just remember that you've done a lot of prep for this and that you're ready. Make sure that you leave really early so that you have enough time to find the location in case you get lost, and that you can also check in on time. Now your name's going to be called. When you enter the interview room, make sure you leave a good first impression. This is very important. This includes firm handshake, looking them in the eyes, and smiling while you introduce yourself. Now, a lot of times they will begin with asking you to tell them about yourself. Just make sure with this you only include key details about yourself that relate to the position you're applying for, such as where you're from, where you got your education, and any field-related activities. From there, they'll ask you a lot of the questions that you've prepared for. Just make sure you answer them honestly and to the best of your ability, while still making yourself look like the best candidate possible. Another question they tend to include is asking you about your weaknesses. A common answer that people like to give is that they're perfectionists. Well, now this isn't a bad answer necessarily, but it's just one interviewers hear a lot. So try to think outside the box. For example, when I interviewed for pharmacy school, I talked about how at my job, I'm a little bit of a people pleaser. When patients get mad or angry or upset, I tend to overcompensate and take it to heart a little too much. Now, in this answer, I still honestly answered the question and kind of answered it a little uniquely, and I still related it back to what I'm applying for. I emphasized patient care and empathy, which made me look like a better candidate. Now, at the end of the interview, like I said, they'll likely give you time to ask them questions. Make sure you do this, as this will drive home your interest and dedication in the position. Once the interview is complete and you're about to leave the room, again, shake their hand and thank them for their time. Now you're done with the interview, congratulations. However, there are still a few more things you need to do after the interview. If you've just applied for a graduate school, they will have a set date by which they will let you know. They'll let you know either way, so it's best just to wait until you receive a call or an email from them. However, if you just interviewed for a job, it's good to send a follow-up email a day or two later, thanking them for their time. You can also add in there that you're very passionate about the position and that you're eager to learn of any next steps you can take. Now I know it's hard, but try not to worry too much. If you followed these guidelines and tried your best, you'll do great. Thank you.